All right, so good to get back on the field and get started here. Yesterday, as I said the other day, was really a continuation of the spring practice routine, mini camps, OTAs, things like that. Working in the red area, which we'll continue to do here today and for a couple days. It's really about each individual just trying to, get into football, the best football situation they can get into, whether that's players, coaches, and everybody else that has a football-related job, and the support staff, scouting staff, and so forth. The pace and the urgency and the way things happen at this time of year is obviously different than it is in the off season. So our pace and our production needs to reflect that. So it's really just everybody's doing that. It's not at this particular day about evaluating how the whole team's going to shape up and who's going to start on the offensive line and all that. It's really about just getting ready to be ready to go as a football team. When the competition starts and padded practices, preseason games, joint practices, and things like that. So still kind of in the build-up mode as the league has set it up, and so just try to make the most of it. Well, we just thought it'd be good to have another quarterback actively participating in camp. Jarrett Stidham will miss a little time, so we'll have Jake in here.
How do you like that setup?
It's awesome.
Good to see you in person. Jonu Smith, we talked to him yesterday. He seems like an energetic guy. As I've been around him here, what would have been your thoughts on that as a coach?
Yeah, great to have him. Good to work with him. He was only here for a few days in the spring. Was here earlier in the week. So, yeah, it's good to have him. Good to have all the guys that we have. Draft choices, guys that we signed as free agents, guys that we brought back. So, excited about the guys that we're working with. And, we all have a lot of work to do. Not any singling out any new players, young players, or anybody else. Like, all of us have a lot of work to do. So, let's get to it.
So it seems like Kyle Duggar's added to his frame a little bit. What do you think, he's done in the offseason?
What's that?
Kyle Duggar. He's sort of added to his frame a little bit out there. What do you think he's done in the offseason to prepare himself to have a good second year?
Yeah, well, I think all the first to second year players, as we've talked about before, it's always a big jump for them from year one to year two. They come to camp, they have much better understanding of our system, understanding of the National Football League, and understanding what the expectations and routine is. So, after you've been through it once, it's a lot easier to prepare and go through it the second time. I think that's true for all the second-year players. But, yeah, Kyle's had a good off season. He's worked hard, and it looks like he's ready to go. So we'll see how it goes.
How was Matt Judon fit in so far? So what have you learned about him during his brief time here in Boston?
Yeah, fit in well. I mean, again, all the new guys have, they're new. They're getting adjusted to our system. We're getting adjusted to them. But, yeah, he's been great. He's been fine.
I don't recall if you've done so much red area work when you first stayed camp before. Was that just something that you wanted to carry over from the spring, or why was there so much emphasis on that yesterday?
It's the way we've done it for the last 5 years, except for last year. Just last year we didn't have a spring. So it's the way we've been doing it.
I've been wrong.
How have you seen J.C. Jackson progress during his time here?
Yeah, well, J.C. came in here as really a, unknown, undrafted player and, earned a spot on the roster, earned playing time, just continued to, work hard and develop. And let's say his roles, increased there from year 2 to year 3, and it's kind of stayed about the same since then. So, continue to gain experience and, improve on his fundamentals and techniques.
We've talked about ascending players, guys staying the same. I would assume that JC is someone you still see as an ascending player based on his age and experience.
Yeah, well, you hope so. But again, I'm not going to make any judgments on that. We've only been out here a couple hours, so we'll go through camp and see how everybody performs. players, coaches, young players, old players, all of us. You know, we all got a lot of work to do. So see how it comes out. I don't know.
What do you think of injury reports? You made some good plays yesterday, second year in the system. Last year he played pretty much anywhere you needed him, and he said he would again. But what have you seen from him from year one to year two, and kind of getting back into more of a role he might be more comfortable with?
Yeah, well, I'm not really sure what role that you're talking about there, but yeah, glad we have him. Adrian's a good football player. It was great to sign him last year. He played well for us. I think he, learned a lot about our system and our style of play is a little bit different than what he had done in the past. Not saying anything was better or worse, just different. But he seems, comfortable with all the things that we've asked him to do. He's doing a good job of the communication and at the position he plays, which is, in and around the box, there's a lot of that. And, he does a good job of that. He's a very instinctive player, sees and reacts things quickly. Just got good football instincts. So I'm glad we have him. He's a, versatile guy. It's, a good football player.
Bill, what have you seen from Damian Harris, the growth, I guess, from his first year to last year, now coming into camp, building off, I guess, what he did last year?
Well, I think, Damian was a player who improved a lot from year one to year two. And now, this year is in a little bit different role now where, he has an opportunity to really, compete for the, for the lead spot. And so, he's embraced that. He's worked hard. He's been here since, the last day, the day after the season was over. He's worked as hard as anybody has in the off season. So I'm sure that'll help his preparation heading into this camp, and we'll see how he does. But he's worked extremely hard. He's a very dedicated player, and I've been impressed with the commitment that he's shown.
So when players take a year off, what is part of the reacclimation process? Which is tougher, the mental side of the game or the speed of the game, the physical side?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. But, we went through the spring. Most of those guys were back here. Well, they were all back here for at least part of it. Some guys were here for more than others. But, it's different, but the same as a player that's injured and misses the year and comes back. I mean, you miss time, and there's a reacclimation process. And I don't know. You'd have to ask them.
Bill, I know you've talked about Nelson Aguilar having the positional versatility to play inside now, so maybe with the Eagles and a little bit less with the Raiders. Is that something that can carry over system to system, or do you have to make that judgment whether he can play inside and out for you here over the coming weeks, maybe months?
Well, of course, yeah. But everything that we do is specific to us. But a lot of that is also interdependent on who the other players are on the field. So if one player can do multiple things and nobody else can, then it's hard to move one guy without moving somebody else, right? So it just really depends on what the overall makeup of the skill group is. And obviously that plays into situations and formations and game plans and so forth. But generically, we try to teach our guys multiple spots at all positions, not just the receiver position, not knowing how game plan needs or roster needs, not being able to anticipate those during the regular season. So if we have to make, create our own depth from our roster, that, we have some ability to do that, or at least we know what our ability is. If we know a guy can't go to a different spot, then we don't waste time with that in the regular season. We find some other way to do it. So, but yeah, Nelson's shown a lot of versatility here. Again, how much that does or doesn't happen, depends on a lot of things. He's one of them, but there's other factors as well.
Kyle Van Noy back now after a year away. It's been a pretty seamless process fitting him back in.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle was here for 3 years. So I think he had, very good, 4 or whatever it was. But, I mean, he was here for quite a while, so, yeah, he had a pretty good understanding of what we did and going back to all the different adjustments and why we do things the way we do. He's got good, like Phillips, good instincts, good leadership, good awareness. He does things pretty naturally. Something comes up that we haven't covered or haven't talked about, whether it's here or anywhere else. He's been pretty good at doing the right thing, trying to figure out, where he should be or where he should move somebody else so that they can handle the situation that's facing him.
So, what have you viewed from Mac in terms of how you retain the information that you guys are teaching?
Well, we'll see. I mean, this is, a lot of new work in the red area. We've done stuff out in the field from the spring. We haven't really got to that yet in training camp. That'll be coming. So, I don't know. We'll find out.
Bill, what have you seen from Juwan Williams as he kind of gets into year 3 and he has a couple years under his belt in the system?
Yeah, again, Jawan's continued to work hard, improve, and, develop. He's a guy that's, going to compete for playing time, and we'll let him, compete with some other players, see how it goes.
In the crowd, how much do you sense the crowd in the first practice? What did they bring, if anything?
Yeah, well, it's more like a normal camp, a lot different than last year. So, yeah, it's good to see everybody out here, and it's a good level of enthusiasm and energy. But, we really have to focus on what we're trying to accomplish on the field, and, whatever happens in the stands happens in the stands. We can't really control that. We need to have a good practice and do the things that we're working on. And that's really what we need to do.
Bill, you mentioned the other day this is still like coaching, growing off the last mini camp. But at what point do you kind of turn things up? Is that over the next couple of weeks?
When we're allowed to. All we have on is helmets. So,
Is the plan for pads Monday?
when we're allowed to wear them, we'll wear them.
There's no guidance yet on what day.
The earliest day we could wear them is Tuesday. Okay, good. All right, thanks.